So the Nintendo Switch 2 is in a really interesting position as we enter the April 2nd Nintendo Direct that happens very, very soon. And the reason that it's in such an interesting position is because I firmly believe, and I'm going to explain very clearly why, that The Legend of Zelda is going to be a big part of the April 2nd event and a big part of the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. And no, I'm not even saying there will be a Zelda game at launch of Switch 2, but I do think it's going to be part of the launch story, and I've got some very good reasons for that, and I even think that this is such good reasons that this is likely going to happen. So when you look at the title of this video and you consider that, oh my gosh, he's saying this will happen, I want to note, this is a prediction. This is my opinion. It is a prediction. It is just one that I am firmly standing behind. Now, before I dive further, I just want to remind you, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 right now. All you got to do is go down to the link in the description or the pinned comment, and hey, good luck. I wish you guys luck. We'll draw a winner closer to when Nintendo Switch 2 launches. We're also giving away a second Nintendo Switch 2, but we'll be doing that via a live stream, again, closer to when the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out. All right, folks, so what are we talking about? Well, what if I were to tell you that going all the way back to the Nintendo GameCube, you can argue N64, but we're going to go with GameCube because it's much easier to track back to. Nintendo has always used Zelda to help launch a brand new system. But wait a second, Nate, how is that the case? I mean, we had Twilight Princess at the launch of Wii, we have Breath of the Wild at the launch of Switch, but what about those other systems? Guys, come on now. You know I came here with the facts, right? All right, so fact number one, GameCube, right? We all know when GameCube came out, it did not have a Zelda game at launch. It didn't have a Zelda game until 2003 with the Wind Waker. However, before the system ever came out, there was this little known event called Space World. And at Space World 2000, we saw this. And that's right. You're looking at a tech demo for The Legend of Zelda with a fight between Ganondorf and Link that looks like an upgraded version of the fight that we had in Ocarina of Time. Really interesting that Nintendo chose to use this to market and advertise the power of the Nintendo GameCube. Okay, so obviously we ended up not having that as a real game. It was just used to market the GameCube, but still part of that launch cycle of marketing to make people excited about GameCube. Now, obviously, we know when we got to Wii, it had Twilight Princess, right? That was a launch game. Pretty self-explanatory. Originally announced at E3 2004. Really took people by storm because we just, the prior holiday, had the Wind Waker come out, so no one expected to see a brand new Zelda game so soon, and it blew people's minds, and we all know it got delayed and ended up being put as a launch game for the Nintendo Wii and became part of the Wii story of success at launch combined with Wii Sports, okay? So we know, yes, Zelda was used to help launch the Nintendo Wii. All right, fast forward when we get to the Wii U. We know the big launch game for Wii U ended up being New Super Mario Bros. U, but what you may not remember is this. Yes, another Zelda tech demo, this time taking Twilight Princess in a fight with Goma, reimagining it with new visuals, and again, showing off the power of the Wii U. This ended up being one of the most talked about things at Nintendo's E3, despite there being actual Wii U games to play. Now, this ended up never becoming a game, and we never got to see Twilight Princess even remade in this style, but still, it set the table for Nintendo using Zelda yet again to market the Wii U. Now, the Wii U, like the GameCube before it with the tech demo, didn't exactly take off and didn't go well for Nintendo. Then obviously we get to the Breath of the Wild story. As we all know, Breath of the Wild, announced in 2014, eventually delayed and became a launch game and one of the primary selling points of the Nintendo Switch at launch. This time, instead of it being paired with like a mega seller like Wii Sports and have 1-2 Switch by its side, turned out Breath of the Wild itself was the mega seller and went on to become the first and still to date the only evergreen Zelda game. So that's really exciting stuff right there, and obviously it gets to today. Now, if you follow that pattern, you would think, fine, Nate, if Nintendo's going to continue this pattern, maybe they do show something on April 2nd, and that something is another Zelda tech demo. Except one thing is true today that wasn't back then. E3 and events like Space World don't exist anymore. There is nothing like that happening between now and when Switch 2 comes out. Now, we could talk about the summer games of play. Nintendo's never participated in Summer Game Fest. We can also talk about the hands-on experience and how there could be that Switch 2 experience could have a Zelda tech demo. Absolutely, that could be a thing. But I do think Nintendo does learn from history. And what you can learn from history is that these tech demos, they don't do a whole lot to sell the platform. They get a lot of views, and it gets really exciting. But honestly, the best way to sell the platform is to show stuff that's going to actually be on that platform. And I do think they're going to do that this time around. Now, we can talk about all the possibilities of what they could bring. We know about the already, the code name and the rumored Gamescom demo of Breath of the Wild 4K. That absolutely could actually be part of the launch lineup. I'm not going to sit there and say that that's impossible. It could be a way they show off how they're going to be upgrading Switch games with patches and all that. So, yes, Breath of the Wild could be part of the launch story for Switch 2. But I don't think that's the game they're going to show to impress people on what Switch 2 can do. Now, that might come from third parties or other Nintendo first-party games. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say one thing that I'm predicting right now. On April 2nd, 2025, Nintendo will tease visually the next big 3D Zelda adventure. Now, look, I don't think this game's actually coming out until, let me see, the last one was 2023, so let's say 2028, so 3 years from now. However, Nintendo has a history with the 3D Zeldas, showing them years earlier. Think about this. Twilight Princess was shown in 2004, didn't come out till the end of 2006, so 2 years later. Okay, not a huge gap. Then look at Breath of the Wild, originally shown in 2014, didn't come out till 3 years later in 2017. Then, obviously, Tears of the Kingdom, teased in 2019, didn't come out till 4 years later in 2023. To me, that means teasing the next big 3D Zelda on April 2nd, but not coming out for 3 years, kind of fits the normal cycle for 3D Zelda games, where you get a tease and it's still 2, 3, maybe even 4 years away. It still fits in the cycle. It still drives hype for the system. And it's a game you will actually be able to play on a Nintendo Switch 2. This is much better than doing what Nintendo did in 2017. If you remember, we got to E3 2017, and Nintendo teased Metroid Prime 4 with a logo. Now we're talking about how Metroid Prime 4 might be a cross-gen game for Switch 2. They're not going to do that with Zelda. There will be a dedicated Zelda game on Switch 2, and it's going to happen in the middle of the generation. Now could be the time to actually tease that, and in teasing that, you could really show the power, again, of Switch 2 with something tangible we'll be able to actually play in a few years. So I do believe firmly, based on the fact that Nintendo keeps using Zelda to market the launch of their home consoles, that Nintendo's going to do it again. They've just learned from the past that we really shouldn't use tech demos that are never going to be real products, and we should just use the actual product. Now remember, Nintendo has been in full development, as far as we're aware, on a brand new Zelda game since some point in 2023. There was no DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, which came out early in the year, about May. So they've had a long time in 2023 to get full development going. And look, we're in 2025. Chances are the next 3D Zelda game was in mass full development as of last year, bare minimum, meaning they could have something to show. And if there has been an idea that this would be part of the launch plan all along, part of the launch hype cycle, then yeah, they've had plenty of time to put together a pan shot of the world or whatever they want to do to advertise the brand new Zelda game. So yes, folks, I do think we'll see 3D Mario. I do think we're going to see a number of titles from Nintendo at this event, at least 5, if not more, that Nintendo themselves is publishing. I do think it might even be the showstopper at the end. I don't know, but I do believe they will show the Nintendo Switch 2 running the next big 3D Zelda game, even though it's going to be a few years away. There we go. Big prediction time. I think I have a lot of evidence to support it. I feel like this is the direction Nintendo's going to go. But as always, I got to toss it to you. You guys got to let me know what you think. Do you think this is happening? Do you think my title is going to age like fine wine? Or is it going to age like milk in a few weeks? Only time will tell. And when it does age like milk, I'm sure you guys will come around and clown the hell out of me. And you know what? That's fine. Maybe I'll even put on the big red nose for a video, because maybe I deserve it after this prediction. Or maybe I'm right. And then we just move on because it doesn't really matter if I'm right or not. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Robojans from Nintendo Prime, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.